This one's for every gamer who got told by a parent, a teacher, or some well meaning adult that video games were a waste of time. And they were wrong. Hear me out. I grew up with an older brother, which meant I really didn't get a choice whether I was going to be a gamer. I just was. So, Pokemon, 007, Harvest Moon, Street Fighter. If it had a controller and a screen, we played it. I mean, how else are we gonna pass the time? And the whole time, there was this background noise from the adults around us. You're wasting your time. Go do something productive. Those games aren't teaching you anything. Here's what's funny though. I went on to spend years in corporate. Deadlines, problem solving, managing up, staying calm under pressure, all of it. And the longer I was there, the more I kept thinking, wait, I've done this before. Not in a meeting, in a game. So today I'm making the case, with evidence, that gaming didn't distract me from being good at my job. It prepared me for it. Granted, my dad specifically saw me playing City Skylines one day and was so impressed. Probably because it wasn't some flashy game, there's no fighting, it looked like cities on my screen. And he came back 5 minutes later to give me $20 and said, I would be good as mayor one day and to keep it up. So I think my dad was onto something. Maybe not me becoming mayor, but just that games can be good for something. I would also like to caveat that I don't think I actually like a gamer. Maybe along the lines of cozy gamer. I dabble here and there. So don't judge too harshly, right? But also hear me out. Let's start with the games that people love to dismiss the most. The cozy farming games. So Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley, games where you're basically just farming. Except here's the thing. Those games have a clock. Every single in-game day you wake up with a limited amount of energy and a limited amount of time. And you have to decide, do I water the crops? Do I talk to the villagers? Do I go mining? Do I upgrade my tools? Do I attend the festival season? Do I do it all? Do I do some? Do I do more of something else? You literally cannot do everything. The game will not let you. So you have to learn fast how to look at everything on your plate and ask, what has a deadline? What generates the most return? What happens if I skip this today? In corporate life, it was always just another deadline, another project that needs to be done with an endless to-do list. Public accounting is literally managing a ton of clients at the same time for the same deadline year round. I remember a newbie asking me how I manage it all, and I probably look so confused. Just do things in terms of priority and you'll see the finish line eventually. This is project management. This is literally what people get paid to teach in workshops. And I learned it by trying to make sure I would have strawberries before the Harvest Fest. This on your resume, right? Practice strategic resource allocation and long-term planning to maximize outcomes. Manage competing priorities within strict time constraints to maximize efficiency and output. Or, wait for it, consistently evaluated task urgency and return on investment to determine daily priorities. And who said farming games weren't fun? They're wonderful. We do like to call them my chore games though, so I know they're not for everyone. Okay, so Professor Layton is one of those games where it's just puzzles. That's it. You walk around, you talk to people, and every few minutes, someone stops you and says, a puzzle has presented itself, and you have to solve it before you can move on. What I didn't realize at the time was that this was training my brain to approach problems methodically, to look at what information I have, figure out what's missing, and work through it logically instead of just panicking. Pokemon does this too, just differently. So on the surface, it looks like a cute game about collecting monsters, right? Underneath, it is a strategy game. It has type advantages, move sets, stat distributions, team compositions. You're constantly making decisions based on incomplete information and adjusting when things don't go your way. So is corporate really that different? When there's a problem, you break it down into what you know and what you need to know. What is the core question that needs to be answered? And how much reading of tax regulations do I need to do to answer it? I feel like rarely do problems not have an answer. So it's really just thinking about of a way to get there. The skill isn't knowing the answer. The skill is not shutting down when you don't have one. Gaming taught me to stay curious in front of problems instead of stressed. Because there is always a route you probably missed 4 paces back. Yeah, that's happened to me a lot. Like, what can this look like on your resume? Demonstrated ability to track and apply large volumes of complex information simultaneously. You develop instinct for recognizing familiar situations and applying prior knowledge quickly, and applied logical, methodical frameworks to solve complex multi-step problems. Yeah, this is entertaining. Can you imagine if I actually put this on my resume? I probably could. I don't think they'll do anything bad, but I don't think they'll do anything good, really. But explaining this would be kind of funny. Yeah, maybe I should try it. So people joke about Pokemon fans memorizing all the types. Water beats fire, fire beats grass beats water. Those are the easy ones. But then you get into like psychic versus dark versus ghost, dragon versus fairy. And suddenly you're running a full mental database every time you enter a battle. And you're not just memorizing trivia, you're recognizing patterns in real time and making quick decisions based on them. But if you want to talk about serious memory load, let's talk about League of Legends. Love hate with this game. I played it a lot back in my younger years when it first came out. In League, before you even get into a match, you have to know your champion inside and out. What are their abilities? How much damage does each skill do? What's the range? Because the difference between a skill that travels this far versus a skill that travels this far can be the difference of a kill or a very embarrassing miss. And then there's itemization. What do you build, in what order, based on how the game is going. Yeah. But is it really different from corporate? It's just knowing your opponent. In League, you go into a match and you have to study who you're up against. What's their play style? What are they likely to do in this situation? What are their weaknesses? You're not just playing your game, you're also anticipating theirs. Anticipating what client may need based on their books or what the manager would need based on how the meeting just went. It's all kind of the same. With more exposure and practice, anticipating the next item that's needed to be done just gets easier. In corporate, so much of being effective is knowing your audience before you walk into the room. So, what do they care about? What are they likely to push back on? What's their blind spot? It's not manipulation, it's just being prepared. And League taught me to think that way before I even set foot in a conference room. I didn't know it, but I do have the tendency to now think things through a lot more than before. How would this look like on a resume? Quickly identified opponent vulnerabilities and adjusted attack strategy in real time based on type data. Evaluated individual unit strengths against broader team synergy rather than optimizing in isolation. Tracked progress across multiple parallel objectives without losing priority on the primary goal. Yeah. Seems like a lot of words, doesn't it? Can't imagine how people go through resumes. Feel like it'd tire me out. Ooh, let's talk about shooter games for a second. Because this is where I think corporate parallel really gets really obvious. So, Fortnite and Call of Duty are not casual games. They are high speed, high stakes, constantly changing environments where everything can go wrong in a second. Someone pushes you when you're not ready, your teammate goes down, you're low on ammo, you're in the open, and there's 3 people closing in. And here's the thing. You can't freeze. The moment you freeze, you lose. The game demands that you process information, you make a decision, and then you execute it. All that in about half a second, over and over again. But that doesn't just happen. Nobody picks up controller for the first time and stays calm in a firefight. You go down a lot. You get eliminated in embarrassing ways, you make bad calls, and slowly, through repetition, your nervous system starts to settle. You build what I can only describe as a pressure tolerance. The chaos stops feeling like chaos and starts feeling just like the situation. That is not a small thing. That is a genuinely trainable skill. And the shooter games train it in a way that feels very low stakes. Because if you go down in Fortnite, you just queue up again. And I found myself not stressed in corporate situations anymore. Maybe the project with the deadline in 5 hours just didn't have the same stress as being the last person on your team to win the game, or making sure to finish my Excel sheet by the end of the day was just another daily quest to tick off. The corporate pressure is real, but it's also survivable. And I think that's part of why I could stay functional in a genuinely stressful work environment, was because I had already trained my brain in a game lobby at 1 a.m. to keep moving when everything felt like it was on fire. Granted, games can only train you for so much, okay? It doesn't account for the real life toxic people that don't leave after your game ends. The work itself, I never had any qualms with in my corporate life. Fun ways this can look on your resume: coordinated with team members in real time towards a shared objective under pressure, maintain performance and communication during high stress team situations, demonstrate ability to analyze failure, extract lessons, and return with an adjusted approach. Yeah, that's that. Almost every game has some version of resources: gold, coins, material, energy, and a limited supply of them. And the games that do this well force you to make real trade off decisions. Do I spend now for a short term win, or do I save for something bigger later? That's budgeting. That is financial decision making. That is the thing adults act like you can only learn through suffering, but actually you can learn it by literally playing any RPG with an in-game economy. When you have a team in corporate, it's making sure everyone gets to use their skills effectively, it's training when you have time, and utilizing when things need to get done. There's only so much time in the day, even for me. I had to get admin items done, but also clock in at least 8 hours of billables. But I don't want to be in the office 9 to 9, so I need to make use of the resources I love most: time. I was never intimidated by the budget conversations in corporate. I've been managing fictional economies since I was 7. The numbers just had more zeros now. Does anyone else remember actively trading resources in MapleStory at a young age? That was some good time, truly. Although I'm not saying that in-game economies are very much like real life economies, but they do have parallel and similarities. So take that what you will. What this can look like on a resume? Manage limited in-game economies requiring strategic spending decisions and delayed gratification. Consistently prioritize high-value investments over short-term gains. Plan resource allocation across multiple competing needs simultaneously. These crack me up. So here's what I want to say to every person who was ever told they were wasting their time on games. You are learning how to prioritize when everything feels urgent. You're learning how to solve problems without a manual. You're learning how to lose, adjust, and go again. You're learning how to stay calm when the stakes went up. Those aren't soft skills. Those are skills. The ones that actually move the needle on a job, in business, in life. Your parents weren't wrong to want good things for you. They just didn't realize the games were already delivering. And if you have a kid who loves gaming right now, maybe don't unplug the console just yet. They might be learning something. Might be. Maybe not all games are good, but take it with a grain of salt. That's that. If you got this far, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you are sticking around and drop your favorite game in the comments. I want to know what game I might have missed and what taught you the most. Till then, I'll see you guys next week. And sorry if I sound a little stuffy. I did get sick the past 2 days. Powering through, guys. Powering through. I'm getting better. Anyways, like I said, see you guys next week. Bye.